What's going on, Utensils? It's I'm Spoon, and I'm here to do a product review for the Logitech G27 racing wheel kit. Do you show them the wheel, the thing, the stuff?
Yep.
Now the racing wheel comes with 3 parts. It's not just the wheel, as you can see. It also comes with the pedals, ignore my hairy feet, and a shifter, all of which screw on to a desk with a lip on it. As you see, my desk has a lip. I'll show you how this works. You screw them on, and both of these basically work the same way. You can unscrew them, and if you can zoom in on that, show them how that works. Basically, you screw in this lip and it'll grab on to the desk. Very futuristic in a way that you screw it onto a desk. It's not futuristic at all. However, the product itself is quite awesome. Now, Logitech, as you know, sent me this, which is the G35 headset, which I did a product review on like 2 months ago. And now I'm doing a product review on this, which I received like a week after, obviously it's been a little bit longer than a few weeks after I got it. And in fact, I planned to do a product review when I moved to O'Brien, but we moved into this apartment, so I had to make it take a little bit longer. By the way, Logitech, if you're watching this, anybody from Logitech, sorry for taking so long on the product review, but now we've got everything set up, so hopefully now I'll have a good chance to give my full experience with it, considering I've used it quite a bit. So I'm going to show you guys a few games. I'm going to show you Euro Truck Simulator 2, which is a game that I play a shit ton of, and I'm going to show you a Formula 1 racing game I have. It's like F1 2012. It's some Steam game. I don't really do the racing games. And then I might also show you, I believe it's Dirt, another Steam game I have that I've used it with. My first complaint with the racing wheel, and the reason why I'm very selective on the games I play with it, is because there's a lot of games not compatible with it. Now, that's not a complaint on the racing wheels part, as it is the game itself. Sonic All-Stars Racing, I love to use this. In fact, Sonic All-Stars recognized the device, but it wouldn't let me change any of the settings for it. So my main complaint about this is that it's very finicky on what games it work with and what games it works with. It's hard to say. And I believe there are different adapters. In fact, I bought one, I can't remember what it's called, but there's adapters you can actually set up controllers and apply to your game itself. So there's ways you can force it to work, but straight out of the box, there's a very limited amount of games that it does and does not work with. The game isn't very advanced or isn't very PC friendly. It's very likely this will not work with it. So before you get this for any specific games, make sure your game is going to work with it. Simulation games, probably everyone works with it. Most grade A racing and driving games are going to work with it, but your offset games like Sonic All-Stars, for example, and I'm sure there's other games out there, older ones, will not work with this most likely. However, as I explained to you guys with the headset, this itself, once again, right out of the box, is a game-changing experience. And for me, when I buy any kind of accessory that's going to be for my gaming experience, it's going to need to be game-changing, in a sense that Euro Truck, played with a mouse and keyboard or a controller, is an entire different experience. You get a lot more when you're driving with this. You know, you go from wanting to play it for an hour a day to, you know, limitless time, because you're using a steering wheel. It feels like you're actually driving. Now, obviously, it feels like you're actually driving a video game, but it's still very fun. Now, I do want to tell you guys the shifter itself. I have not used it because, I'm embarrassed to say this, I don't know how to use a manual. I don't know how to use a stick shift because my family has always used automatic, and my family's never had a stick shift, so I don't know how to use this. I'm assuming it works just fine. It does have a clutch to where you can change it. As you can see there, I don't need to explain it to you how that works. I know the gist of it. Brake, gas pedal. Now, one thing I also want to tell you guys, and I apologize, I'm not really wearing business clothes. I'm wearing sit around the house and play video games clothes. These are very realistic in a sense that the gas pedal, fairly easy to push down. Brake pedal feels like you're actually pushing a brake pedal down. The clutch is, you know, in between the gas and brake pedal. You're using it as a clutch, so it's fairly easy to push down as well. So it's not one of these plastic pieces of junk, and even this itself is fairly heavy, and it does not like to move around on the floor too much, as you see. Of course, putting it down on a wooden floor might be a different story. But I normally have it against the wall back there, so I don't really worry about that. So all these pieces of equipment are very, very sturdy. So you get what you're paying for when it comes to the Logitech equipment every time I've ever used it. It's very sturdy in a sense that I'm not going to fucking break this by touching it. Now, moving on from that to this, and I'm saving this for last for a reason. This piece itself, I don't use this, once again, the shifter. The shifter works just fine, as you can feel. There's nothing wrong with it. But I use it for these buttons. For a Euro Truck, and you guys will see, I can change my brights, windshield wiper, blinkers, you know, all that stuff. You can set these for different controls, and there's a reason for that being there. So that's why I love this extra piece. It's just, you know, in a car you're going to have more than just this one thing to push buttons on, so it makes sense to put it on this piece of equipment right here. So I'm not going to explain this too much. You guys know what these things are for. The steering wheel is my main course of discussion, and after we discuss it, I'll go into what I like, what I don't like, and show you guys some gameplay of me using it. You guys can thank Kylie. Kylie, could you put your hand in front of the camera and wave to them? She's recording this so I don't have to. We're using our brand new camera instead of a webcam because I feel like it's going to give me a lot more freedom to move around and use my hands to talk like I always do. So yes, this is the steering wheel. We've gone over the pedals and the shifter. We've gone over how they attach, how they feel all around. The reason why I like the steering wheel is, once again, just like this, it feels like an actual steering wheel. It's when it's not plugged into a computer, it just turns freely. I mean, you don't even have to do any work and it'll just turn. However, when it has power, even when it's not on a game being used, it feels like an actual steering wheel. It feels like you're turning it with wheels, and it does auto center, so it'll come back. You don't have to leave it there. Now, once I'm in the game, Euro Truck, you'll see how it uses in an actual video game, but outside of the video game, it's very sturdy. It's not going to come off. In fact, I probably could pull the desk off before this would come off. Keep in mind though, since you are using these clamps under here, even though there's like a soft plastic / rubber piece, if you're using a nice wooden desk, I recommend using paper, cardboard, something to put in between these lips to where you're not damaging your desk. That was a main concern of mine when using equipment at my family's house. My equipment, I don't give a shit what it looks like. I care about its functionality. So I put it on there without the cardboard. But if you are going to get this and use it, put something in between these lips in your desk so you don't damage the wood. And that, I mean, there's not really a better way you can do it. I know there are some devices out there you can kind of like sit on and do like this, but I feel like it's a lot more of a pain in the ass, especially if you move around and stream a lot. So I like the fact that it clamps onto the desk, so I'm okay with that. That doesn't really bother me too much. So this one has these. Now I believe these aren't used for clickers. They are used for shifters on a Formula 1 game, which I will try out. I haven't actually played it but like one time, so we'll see how it works, and you guys can see me struggling with that. I use it for blinkers on the Euro Truck game. Euro Truck is the main game I play with this, but I don't want to just base the review off of one game itself, so I'm going to try and show you guys a few different games. These buttons, I don't really do too much. This is for like, I can't remember. I use a horn with this one. Now, for some reason, I have it figured out. I think these do go as separate buttons, but for some reason on Euro Truck, these all count as one button. I'm not sure why that is, but if I were to try and do something, it'd be like button 1, button 1, button 1. On a different game, it's like button 1, button 2, button 3, and the same way here. But for Euro Truck, it's weird. So I was only able to use these top 2 buttons. Once again, I'm not sure why that is. This one I'm using for like a horn, and this one I cannot remember. Another thing I want to say is when you plug and unplug this here, I'll show you. You guys are gonna like this. When I plug and unplug this in, it turns, it lights up, it has those cool funky lights on it. And it never does that again. It's like it turns on and it shows a little light up thing there. I don't know why. I would love for it to be like whenever you play a game, you could make these light up or something. I don't know, but for some reason that's the only time you see it move on its own, and that's the only time you see these light up. So right away, I can tell you, it's not just there to be some loose piece of equipment. This is a mechanical, expensive piece of equipment, and that's why I love it, and that's why I call it a game-changing experience, is because it is there in a way that works very, very well and sturdily. So we'll come back, we'll play some gameplay, and hopefully you guys can get more of an experience of what this thing is. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Formula 1 2012 game I was talking about. There's a Formula 1 2013 coming out, it's not yet. I'll be switching between the screen here and you guys over here. I tried to turn everything on to where things are a little more out of control. It's about as close to simulation as I can possibly get without ruining myself on this game. But keep in mind, I'm going to try to do things here as good as I can. Now, for some reason on this game, I could not figure out how to get the shifter work. Like, it's still an automatic shifting. This is supposed to be used for the shifter, and it still works as a shifter. But unfortunately, I cannot get it to work as a shifter. I'm not why. Like, I can adjust it accordingly myself, but for some reason, it's still set up for automatic. And I'm also really bad at this game. I'm also really bad at knocking people out of the way. So apparently this is what it's like driving a Formula 1 car. Apparently things happen and people die, and the water on the track affects how you drive as well. Still really upset that I couldn't figure out how to manually shift it using these little shifters, because that's what it's supposed to be used for. Oh god, I'm on the road! Or off the road. Oh god, I'm dead. I'm dead again. Good thing those GTA 5 skills come in handy, right? Caution when rejoining the track. Okay. Okay, so apparently those there's like rules about what you can and cannot do in Formula 1 racing. Like, you can't overtake on certain turns. You can't masturbate while driving a car at speeds over 100 and wow, we're going 130 miles per hour now. 140, 150. Oh god, I do not feel safe. I don't feel safe. And I locked my brakes up because it's raining. Jesus Christ. Now I know people do this whole thing like on simulation mode using a racing wheel as well. I'm not sure how they do it. Like, I'm not even using full simulation. I'm just like, fuck my ass, I'm terrible at this game. Once again, anybody watching this from Logitech, I apologize for my vulgarity. I'm quite frustrated when it comes to trying to do this correctly because I'm really bad at this game when actually using the racing wheel. So it comes down to non-simulation driving when using a controller or a keyboard to full simulation driving when using a wheel, pedals, etc. And it's a huge difference. It's kind of scary, to be honest. Yeah, it's kind of different. Says, ah! This is all your fault, Logitech. You've done this to me. You've made me embarrassed to play this game. Please don't run into me. I'm your friend. Okay, we're good. We're good. Shh. It's okay. These things don't turn very well. Ah! Don't laugh at me. Oh god, I think I hit a car. I did. A car hit me. It's not my fault. I got a penalty! Added to my time at the end of the session. Well, thank you for that. Ah, my brakes are locked up again!
Okay, we need you to make way for the car behind.
What car behind? Get the fuck out of my way! Get out of here, bitch! Mine! No! No! Good thing I put it on cosmetic damage only and not realistic damage. That guy passed me going like 400 miles per hour. It's okay, I got him. Oh god. Fuck it, I'm going straight. That was a terrible idea. Why'd you guys let me do that? God, imagine. Oh, we did it. Yeah. Way to go, guys. 24th place. I didn't even know there was 24 people on this race. Position change. Lost 13. I don't actually know what that means. Let's see my score there, how good I did. Can I scroll down? Oh, that's me right there. I don't need to scroll down. I didn't do very good, guys. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, let's do Euro Truck, where things are a lot more simple. Alright guys, now I'm going to play some Euro Truck Simulator 2, the game that I most enjoy on this because I'm not really into the fast cars and dying and death and excitement. I like the more relaxed, calming drive on a game. Now, the thing different about this game is I'm going to be using a mouse to look around the cabin. It feels a lot more comfortable. Normally I won't be using it, it's just going to be here and there. This game needs a keyboard and a mouse to be used with it mostly because a lot of times you're going to want to pause the game and adjust settings accordingly as well. Now with this one I have a lot more of these done. You see this affects my lights, and then this will turn on my oh, it's not doing anything because the the engine's not on. So now that the engine's on, this will adjust my lights, as you can see, and that turns on emergency flashers. This will adjust my mirrors. I've actually set this up to do different things. I didn't do too much of it because I don't really care about those. Mostly what I need to worry about are my brakes, my gas, and then this. This is my horn. It's a very weak horn, as most trucks in this game have. And this controls, oh, that's my cruise control. Now I remember what I set up there. I also have my blinkers set up instead of the shifter. Once again, the shifter for the Formula 1 game didn't really work out too well. Now this game is obviously very different in the sense that we will be hauling trailers. I've chosen a relatively small mission. Some of these can last anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. This one should only be about 10 minutes, as it is only 98 miles for driving. Okay, so maybe a little bit more than 10 minutes, but that's okay. So obviously this game is a little different in a sense that, once again, you're not supposed to be going super speeds or anything like that. I've turned off the speed limiter just for the sheer fact that I like going fast. And if I get a ticket for it, so be it. Now, on the streams, I don't really care. I go all over the roads and stuff. But for recording purposes, I will focus on at least trying to make this as simulation-ish as possible. My sensitivity on the steering wheel has been turned up a butt ton. I should probably turn it down, but I turned it up a lot because I like being able to go all over the road without any effort, and it just feels comfortable that way. But like I said, I'll try and make this as simulation-ish as possible so you can see the real reason for needing a racing wheel as opposed to just using a keyboard or a controller. Now for me, I love the idea of having a steering wheel because, as I've said multiple times, it changes the way you play. Most of us are used to using a keyboard and mouse or a Xbox controller, but not everyone has the racing wheel. Now, of course, if you guys are going to look down below in the info section really? I'm not on Twitch. Look down in the description, you guys will see any kind of link for this you could possibly want. There's multiple places you can buy the G27 racing wheel. Now, I say G27 racing wheel, and that's what it's called, I believe. But once again, it doesn't just come with the wheel, it comes with the pedals and this as well. Once again, all are very sturdy, very, I want to say futuristic devices, not just pieces of plastic that are very not sturdy and easily broken. So I don't want you guys to get in your head that it's expensive for no reason. It is expensive for a reason, and to be honest, I feel like it's worth the purchase because most of the other ones you see out there are either roughly the same amount or they're a lot less for a really crappy device. This is the one I saw and the one I wanted. Fortunately, Logitech was once again kind enough to supply me with this for not only usage on the stream but also for the review which I'm doing today. Now keep in mind, as I said, there are a few things that I do have a problem with on this. One thing that you might find kind of a problem are the wires. There's a lot of wires and they all plug into this one device. I'm about to go off the road because I'm going way too fast. I'm going to put it on cruise control so I can talk easier. There's a lot of wires coming from this. You might be able to see that. This plugs in, the pedals plug into this. This has a USB wire that goes from it. and then, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of stuff that plugs into here that you need to have. So, in a way, it is kind of annoying having these different wires coming from it, but, I mean, I guess you could have made it wireless, but I do feel like that may cause problems. So that's one complaint I have about this, is the fact that it's not wireless, and all the pieces go right here, which is the one front. I would prefer them to maybe all go down to the one at the floor, considering that one's going to be out of the way, because plugging into this is a big problem because it's all on the desk here. You have to kind of work around it, especially for Euro Truck. My mouse is like right here in the midst of these wires, so sometimes things get kind of weird. But I mean, if anybody does wire management, then it's not that big of an issue. So just like the G27, there's minor things here and there that you can kind of work with. It's not really a problem. I mean, for any kind of piece of equipment, you're not really going to have problems with it, especially from a top brand like Logitech. A little bit of branding there. Logitech, the top branding for random accessories for playing games awesomely. I don't know, don't make that your slogan, please. Another problem I have is maybe the fact that a lot of games aren't compatible with it, and once again, I don't think that's the fault of the racing wheel itself. I think that might just be games themselves. If there isn't already, there could be possible like patches that will make it available for this game, or maybe something on Logitech's end, because I know the G35, these, they have the ability to, you can download a program that you can plug them in, and you can adjust different settings through Logitech. They have a software program. Now, I don't know, and I don't, if they do, there might be, I'll have to look it up. If there is something that they allow you to download as far as software, that maybe you can, because for me, I bought like a $10 program that allows you to make your own controls out of different things you plug into your computer. But maybe if there was something by Logitech that would allow you to maybe plug in your own controls for just any game there is, and then install it into that game, that would be nice. Or maybe patches for different games. But so far, the only thing I've noticed is that this picks up the same as an Xbox controller does. If the game does not recognize it, it doesn't work. If the game doesn't do a very good job at recognizing it, but it still picks it up, then it still has trouble working. So you can see where that problem is. Another complaint maybe would be, as I said, with the buttons, sometimes they don't really work. Like, once again, this counts. Like, you can hear me honking the horn with all three of these different buttons. These buttons are counting as one button. And once again, I don't know if that's the fault of the game or Logitech themselves, but these buttons work on the Formula 1 racing game as different buttons, but in this game they're recognized as one. So I don't know if that's, once again, a patch. So it seems like just the compatibility with games and the way it works with the games is a big problem. And then the only other thing I can think of is, once again, just the physical layout of this. The fact that it screws down, the fact that there's, I don't really know what I would even suggest. With the wires, I suggested wireless, but with the screwing onto a desk, it requires a certain lip size. If you don't have a lip on your desk, you can't really use it. Now, obviously, there's not really a good way to weigh this down to where it would function any better. But maybe if there was something that could be looked into to where this doesn't have to screw onto a desk, maybe at least even having some kind of rubbery piece to where you don't have to feel like you're going to damage the desk. Once again, it doesn't really bother me. To each their own as far as using this goes. But as I said, in a product review, I do want to be fair, and in that sense, there are a few problems with it that some people may not be too happy with, and some people may not care too much about at all. Why this thing is not actually counting as me putting it into the parking spot, I do not know. That was like straight in, but I guess I'm going to have to try that again, because it was like perfectly in place there, and then the game was like, you can do better than that. Yeah, that's like straight in. Okay, that's better this time. Yes? Yes? There it goes, Jesus. Alright, so those are the two main games that I would say. I mean, you're gonna get a really big racing game where it's like fast and you can't control it. It's full simulation, you're gonna die, your vehicle's gonna die, and then you get the more relaxing type game like this. It just kind of feels right for me with the controller. So, as I said, game changing, yes. Sturdy, very enjoyable to use, yes. Minus the fact that there's a few physical problems with just the design of it. Once again, the wires and then the screwing on. And that's not even a problem, that's just really the only option you have if you're not going to do it wireless. Once again, those are just personal preferences. I like to have a clean desktop. I like to have, I guess in this case, something that's not as really finicky when it comes to placing on the desk. So in that sense, some of you may prefer something that you can kind of sit on. I've seen them that have the lifts that you can sit on and control it like this, but then it becomes a really big problem to move around in the desk. So aside from purchasing a chair itself that works in a simulation form, those are thousands of dollars. When it comes to desktop accessories like racing wheels, pedals, and stuff, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from all the research I did, this is the top of the line, and there's a very good reason for it. So, I would suggest you guys check it out. Take my advice for what you're going to want, and if it's really something you're going to get, then make sure you use it, because once again, it's not cheap, but it's definitely worth it for the people that are streamers, people who record and want a simulation experience. This is probably the best one you're going to get out of all of them that I've seen, and it works fine. I love it, and I use it all the time on my stream. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully the product review was at least informative, and hopefully you can see how I used it, what I used it for, and take my experience and apply that to if you guys are looking and you're teetering on the edge of actually getting one of these racing wheels or not. Maybe this will help you out with the decision. So thanks for watching once again, guys, and have a good one. I'll speak to you later.